The Forgotten House. In a small village surrounded by dense woods, there stood an old, dilapidated house. For years, it had remained uninhabited, and the villagers whispered in hushed tones about the secrets it held. No one dared to go near it, except for a young woman named Eva. She was fascinated by the house and decided to take the plunge on a stormy evening. With a flashlight in hand and a sturdy jacket over her shoulders, she walked up to the front door. The wind howled through the trees, and the rain poured down in torrents. When she opened the door, the wood creaked like an old soul waking up from slumber. Inside was dark and damp, with mold decorating the walls. The air was heavy with the scent of decay and neglect. Eva stepped inside, and an immediate chill ran down her spine. She whispered to herself that she was merely satisfying her curiosity. She began wandering through the rooms, each filled with long-forgotten memories. Pictures of unknown people hung askew on the walls, their gazes seeming to follow her. In the living room, she discovered an old mirror, covered with a thin layer of dust. She wiped it away and looked at her reflection. But behind her, in the mirror's glass, she saw something else, a vague shadow moving, a faceless figure. Eva spun around, but there was no one there. Her heart raced in her chest. Confused and slightly scared, she decided to explore further. As she climbed the creaky stairs to the upper floor, she heard soft whispering, like echoes of forgotten voices. The voices seemed to call to her, but she couldn't make out the words. An irresistible urge to follow them washed over her. On the upper floor, she found a door ajar. When she pushed it open, she entered a children's room, filled with old toys and a bed with tattered sheets. A large, dusty teddy bear sat in the corner. Eva felt an odd pull and stepped inside. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind her. She was trapped. The whispers grew louder, now sounding like desperate cries. Eva turned around and saw the shadow again in the mirror across the room. It was closer now, its form more indistinct than ever, but its dark presence suffocated her. Panic surged through her as she pushed against the door, but it wouldn't budge. The shadow crept closer, its presence palpable and menacing. Eva felt a cold hand on her shoulder, a touch that stole her breath away. She turned around and saw a face, not the face of a monster, but that of a child, eyes wide with sorrow and longing. "Help me," the child whispered, and in that moment, Eva realized the truth. This house was not just abandoned, it was a prison for lost souls. She could feel their despair wrap around her like a shroud. Summoning every ounce of courage, Eva approached the mirror, the child's reflection mirroring her every move. "I will help you," she promised, and as she reached out to touch the glass, the room exploded with light. The shadows recoiled, and the whispers turned to a symphony of gratitude. In an instant, the child stepped through the mirror, her spirit free at last. The house shook, and as the dust settled, Eva found herself outside, breathless and shaken. The house stood silent behind her, no longer filled with despair, but radiating a strange sense of peace. Eva turned to leave, knowing she had set one soul free. Yet, as she walked away, she couldn't shake the feeling that the house still held many more secrets, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover them.